The Saturn Mind Control Cube.
Over the course of history, different religions will have different interpretations of what both Saturn and the cube represent. But we'll also find similar themes and archetypes that overlap among the different beliefs. For example, many ancient cultures thought of Saturn as the furthest celestial body from the sun. And so Saturn was a symbol for darkness and the opposite principle to the light of the sun. And in the Greek-Roman pantheon, Saturn was synonymous with the Titan Cronus, who was the father of the Olympian gods, who themselves represent this kind of immediate solar presence. But Cronus' name was also linked sometimes synonymously with Kronos, the personification of time. So Cronus, or Saturn, was also a type of father time, who ate his children to prevent himself from being overthrown by them. So from this we can see where some Gnostics, Neoplatonists, and other occult groups take Saturn to symbolize or represent the oppressive demiurge, an oppressive father deity who has trapped us inside the quote-unquote darkness of time and space by swallowing us whole. And they then preach this end goal of enlightenment, so that we can escape the belly of time and space and become reunited with the light, which is ultimately our destiny, just as Cronus overthrew his father and his son later overthrew him. Meanwhile, the cube is also a shape that represents three-dimensionality. Just like the rectangle, for example, the Cartesian plane represents two-dimensionality. It's also a six-sided shape, where the number 6 is traditionally associated with this idea of binding or transforming energy into material. And so the Saturn Black Cube is ultimately a symbol within this broader worldview that the material world is a fallen emanation from a higher order that is immaterial, and that ultimately we are living in a sort of matrix-like illusion. And it's also worth noting that many Christian heresies stem from this exact perspective.
In addition to that, an anonymous friend of ours describes the Black Cube this way.
The Saturn Cube can be described as a hive mind god. The meta-god. Have you heard of Metatron? The Saturn Cube is the entrapped physical world which they wish to undo, to get an all-flowing hive of all minds combined into a greater intelligence. The hive is the new Messiah they wish to bring about. This can be described succinctly as a metaphorical Tower of Babel. You might say that the beast of Revelation is the internet. Note that the true meaning of communism is the anti-individual hive mind. Saturn enveloped his children together, essentially enjoining them. Saturn cut Eden apart with his sickle and they wish to repair it. This repair rejoins all of humanity into one meta-being, using others as a sacrificial holocaust. You could think of the movie The Matrix as the end goal. So in summary, Saturn worship has the end goal of joining humanity together into a giant hive mind meta-life form.
To add to this, Saturn is often associated with the cube because of its hexagon on the northern pole. A hexagon can be seen as a three-dimensional cube trapped in a two-dimensional representation, similar to humans being higher-dimensional beings that are trapped by the demiurge within the dimensions of space and time. So it's no coincidence that to hex someone in witchcraft is to bind them with magic. Or maybe even that Orthodox Jews bind themselves with Teflon, or that the Kaaba at Mecca is a giant black cube that Muslims circle around, much like the rings of Saturn. Even the United Nations Meditation Center also features a black cube, as well as many other statues and structures that are found throughout the world. In popular culture, you see these ideas referenced by the Borg in Star Trek, the Allspark in Transformers, the Puzzle Box in Hellraiser, the Think Tank in the Lego movies mentioned earlier, and the list could go on. In Subnautica, the cube precursors have trapped the Sea Emperor Leviathan, the game's ancient serpent, and the only creature that can create immunity to the corruption in their world.